The progressive whitewash is to take all the horrible things that were done and say, America did this, and America did that, or the South did this, or the South did that. No, America didn't do it, you did. So the Democratic Party, having poisoned the wells, is now pretending to show up as the water commissioner.
So let me just quickly ask. This is interesting.
No, I got to answer. Okay. So, Dinesh, this is part of the reason I want to do this, because just like with Ann Coulter last year, I really want to know if you're on the level or not.
All right.
That's what I'm curious about. Because do you not know about the 1964 Civil Rights Act? Do you not know that the Democratic Party, led by Lyndon Johnson at the time, risked losing the South for decades, which they did, to pass the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, and that Nixon proudly took on the Southern strategy, which was now admitted by two different chairs of the RNC to be a racist strategy to get racist whites, and that's why now the Democratic Party, which used to be conservative, and the Republican Party used to be liberal under Abraham Lincoln, have flipped, and the Democratic Party is liberal, and the Republicans are conservative. So, hold on, and I'm not anywhere near done. So you say FDR and Mussolini said some nice things about each other like decades earlier. I don't know if you know this, they later went to war against one another. So
and after
you have
the war,
a history of telling only half the story in a preposterous, comical way.
Okay. All right. I think we're getting to the heart of the issue here, so if you don't mind, let's engage a little bit about it, okay?
Oh, I love it, yeah. Let's
All right.
Let me just add one thing where I think you both agree on, which is the Republican Party used to be the progressive party in America. I don't think that's a secret. I mean, that's...
Well, the Republican Party was the champion of emancipation, anti-segregation, anti-lynching laws, and so on. Right, I want to talk about the Civil Rights Act.
So you liked them when they were progressive?
No, I wouldn't say that's progressive because... No.
I'm pretty sure that's progressive.
No. The progressives of the time were into social engineering, eugenics, forced sterilization. So this is a disguise. The progressives later claimed the mantle. All right.
And freeing the slaves, just as an FYI.
The progressives freed the slaves.
Progressives wanted to free the slaves. They were in the Republican Party. Yes.
No, they were not. The term progressive was invented in the 20th century.
Conservatives liked the way things are. They wanted to keep their tradition and culture.
So was Abraham
of slavery.
Lincoln a Republican?
He was a Republican and a progressive. I know it's hard for you to understand.
Yeah.
The parties switched.
Okay,
that's what he's asking you. No one else in the country disputes that other than you.
No, I do dispute it. Let me ask you this question. You mentioned the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Did more Republicans in proportion or more Democrats vote for the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Answer yes, which one? Which party voted in greater proportion for the Civil Rights Act of 1964?
Great, let's do it.
Which one?
All right.
Do you know?
So I believe that the guy who pushed for the Civil Rights Act was a guy named Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was most clearly a Democrat. And at that point, the Democratic Party had a lot of racist conservatives in it. It's true. What led to the transition was the 1964 Civil Rights Act, where those Democratic racists decided, man, I love the Republican Party. I think I should go there. And for you to say, at that moment in history, that's the whole point, Dinesh.
Okay.
That's when they switched.
All right,
that's when all the racists went to your party.
Okay. Yeah. So I take it that this is a backhanded admission that far more Republicans proportionally voted for the Civil Rights Act than Democrats, right? Okay, you admit it. You try to camouflage it, but you admit it. Now, you say that that's when they switched. So let me ask you this. We had the Voting Rights Act in 1965 and the Fair Housing Bill in 1968. Let's take the Fair Housing Bill. Did more Republicans or more Democrats proportionally vote for the Fair Housing Bill? Which one?
So, Dinesh, let's try this one more time. So, Republicans were more progressive. They were the progressive party, so they would push for things that were progressive until those events in that exact time period, Dinesh. And then a lot of them thought, under Nixon, and he wasn't president yet, and when he ran, he said, hey, I got a great idea. Let's get all those racist Democrats to join the Republican Party. Let's run on racism. And you know what they did? They then went on a campaign through Nixon to bring all the racists in the Republican Party, which I'm not admitting. The head of the Republican National Committee, two different heads of it, came out and gave a speech and said, yes, we transitioned into racists, and that was our strategy.
Really?
You to try to deny that is insanity.
Is it really? Let me
you
ask you
think
this.
the Democrats are more racist now? By the way,
No,
let me
hold on.
let me give you one piece of context. I got to give you context.
I just want to
Dinesh,
show.
You wrote a book saying that slavery wasn't about race in this country. You wrote a book where you said black people should give white people reparations for liberating them.
No, I did say that slavery in America did not start out in racial terms. The people tried to enslave the American Indians, lots of blacks owned slaves. So this is part of the real complexity of our history. But I noticed that when we're talking, you raised...
Racism was a real mixed bag. I remember all those white folks being owned by black people. See, that's exactly what I'm going to.
The black slave owners owned black slaves.
On purpose, Dinesh. You do it on purpose. You say, oh, for a while we tried to enslave the Native Americans, so we'll say that slavery wasn't about racism. Do you see how that you're obviously misdirecting people, and you're doing it on purpose? It's not like white people were slaves. The overwhelming majority of slavery was black people enslaved. Why can't you admit the most obvious things? Because you have a political agenda.
No, it's
and
because...
what you want to do is support Republicans and their current day racism.
No.